Nacre turning is considered a traditional craft in our region. 4 nacre turneries which produced nacre buttons were formerly based in Hardegg alone. Up to 350 people were involved in the process of making them.
The raw material of nacre turning consists of snail shells and seashells. In a first step, a hollow drill cuts little discs on the scale of a button. The nacre manufacturer grinds the so-called rondelles on the back to get a certain thickness and also forms them. With the help of a special drill, little holes are manually drilled into every single button.
When the buttons are finished processing, they are washed with pumice dust for 3 hours so they can debour. Also because the little holes have edges which may cause the yarn to tear. After 3 to 4 hours, they are put into an acid bath, which has about 2 milliliters of sulfuric acid and 60 liters of water added. This process lasts for about an hour.
Due to this process, which is called deburring, the buttons get their first gloss.
Then the buttons are washed again, which lasts for another hour. After that, the buttons or jewelry pieces are dried before they are put into polishing drums filled with little wooden cubes.
Every 3 days, beeswax, which serves as a polishing paste, is added to the tiny beechen cubes.
The drums operate for about 12 to 14 hours. After this, the buttons have their final gloss.
Before the buttons can be sold to the customers, they need to undergo a final quality inspection. Again, this is done manually.
The button is inspected thoroughly. It is important to check if the button is whole, if the back and the thickness are all right, if the holes are centered, if maybe the drill is broken at some point, if there are 3 or 4 holes, and so on. Our sorter is looking very closely.
Between 30,000 and 35,000 buttons are inspected every day.
It has been a tradition that we have previously processed local shells, in this case the tire shell.
Meaning the tire shell only. Back in the 1950s, shells were retrieved from the river in Hardegg at the border of Austria and today's Czech Republic.
Several tons of shells have been fished out. Back in the day, this work was carried out by farmers. The shells have been harvested by hand. Then they were opened. The meat was given to ducks or pigs, and the pearls were sold to the nacre turners. Here you can see the tire shell in comparison to the shell we get from Indonesia today. Today the shells are cultured. They grow for about 15 years until we can process them.
Small amounts are still done by hand. With bigger amounts, the nacre turners rely on fully automated production.
We supply many known companies who also want their name and the company logo on the buttons. This is done by lasering. Nacre is a natural product. Every nacre button looks different. They will never look the same. Some have a reddish color, some a greenish or a whitish one. Every button has its own reflection of color.
Every year, several million buttons are produced for the clothing industry. For quite some years now, other items have also been produced in the nacre turnery, which is unique in Europe.
A lot of gifts are made as well. There are knives with handles made of nacre, little spoons used for caviar and eggs.
When Rainer Matejka took over the family business in the north of Waldviertel, he wanted to keep up with the times and not only produce buttons.
We also produce a lot of jewelry for both women and men. There is a lot you can do with nacre.